Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German Fußball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Hey!
Hello! Good evening on this regular Monday night.
We're back at Schnitzel night.
Back at Schnitzel night with our usual doubleheader, starting with Germany. Congratulations to Daniel Farke.
That's right. That happened today. Leeds United won the championship, featuring Brendan Aronson and Daniel Farke. And
they have not won the championship yet, but they are getting promoted. That is official as of today.
They're top of the league, right?
They are top of the league. Yeah. They may still finish second. Doesn't matter, though. The first two go up. But they guaranteed themselves promotion today.
Along with Burnley?
Along with Burnley, at the expense of Sheffield United, although they still have a chance to make it through the playoffs. You know, the very brutal championship season culminates in a playoff for places 3 through 6. But Leeds have avoided that. After last year, they just barely missed out on the top two, and then didn't make it through the playoff, loss to Southampton. But this year, they're back, and Daniel Farke has done it again. He did it twice with Norwich, and each time immediately Norwich.
Remember, you got the English, it's their words, so even though it's bonkers, we have to pronounce it there.
Norwich.
It's not Leicester, it's Leicester.
I know that. I don't know. I mean, I just.
It's not Worcestershire sauce. It's Worcester sauce.
Worcester sauce.
We just gotta say yes to whatever bonkers.
With the which I gotta at least sneak it in there. Norwich. Which Nor? Norwich. Anyway.
Norwich.
Daniel Farke. He never made it very high up in the German. I just looked at his Wikipedia page earlier today, and he was not a high level soccer player, but he sure has a scoring rate that is sick. He said about his own playing career, he said he knew how to score, but was probably the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe. Okay, nice. So he played for TuS Paderborn Neuhaus, SV Lippstadt, SV Wilhelmshaven, Bonner SC, and SV Meppen. So these are, lower level.
At first, I thought you were just saying the name of one club. I was like,
no, they all sound similar, but they're all in the lower regions of Germany. But he has 109 appearances for all these teams, which also is not a lot over the course of 14 years.
No, not a lot at all.
109 appearances. But how many goals did he score in these 109 appearances? This is my trivia question for you.
110.
109 appearances.
No, for real.
For real.
So, and this is supposed
give it a good guess here. 109 appearances over 14 years. How many goals?
48 goals.
76.
Dang, man. That is, and no one would play him. No one would play him.
I know. I feel like there is a story.
That's 2 goals every 3 games. I mean, why didn't he get? He must have been injured so much.
It's really wild. He only played 109 games in over 14 years, but every other time, but like with Bonner SC in 2005, he was 10 for 10 appearances, 10 goals.
And they had different coaches every 3 games. The first thing it was bench Farke. What the fuck is going on over here?
You know what I'm talking about? In his last stint for SV Lippstadt, he scored 8 times in 6 games. I mean,
that. If you score more than you appear, that's Gerd Muller legend record.
I mean,
I'll always remember Gerd Muller's German record.
Yeah,
it's 68 goals and 62 appearances. Like very few people have more goals than appearances.
Well, it's Gerd Muller and Daniel Farke.
Daniel Farke. Question for you, Bjorn.
Yes.
If you could choose between being like a guy who was a top level scorer or some sort of top level guy, like would you rather have a famous career record, or would you rather have like a bonkers career record where like you're known as having the most red cards in Bundesliga history or something like that? Like which would you rather be, the guy who has the most offsides calls in German soccer history, or would you rather be like Kevin De Bruyne, who like had himself a career?
No,
what would you rather have?
I'd rather be Kevin De Bruyne. I mean,
really?
But it's not
so much more fun.
It's not a difficult decision.
You don't want to be a guy who over 20 years played in 5 games in the Bundesliga 5, but scored 10 goals.
I mean, it is sort of, no, I'm sure Daniel Farke would also rather be Kevin De Bruyne, but like, but I mean, it is sort of, it definitely kind of caught my eye as I was looking through his.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, 76 goals and 100 appearances over 14
109.
years.
That's why didn't. Yeah,
that's quite the record. Yeah, but also maybe at that level, it's essentially semi-pro, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's full time.
I mean, Meppen used to be a. Yeah, I mean, no, we don't have to. Yeah,
when Farke was there. Yeah,
no, it's low level. Yeah, it's very. He never made it higher than 4th, I guess, 4th division.
Like Lutz Pfannenstiel, like his whole point was he played goalkeeper all over the world. Like every 6 months he changed countries and
he went somewhere else. Yeah,
and wrote a book about it. Turned himself into. I remember this obscure article years ago when I was living as a little international kid living in Brazil. There was an article in the local one of the sports magazines about obscure Brazilians. And like, there was like, they interviewed a dude who was playing in China, and he was known as the fastest player in China. Okay. Then there was a dude who was playing in Iceland professionally. So they interviewed him about his experiences in Iceland. And like, it was just fun. Like these Brazilian dudes just being these journeyman adventurers. I'm like, that's cool. Good for them.
No, it's very cool, but it's not, they do this because they're not. Kevin,
I know.
Right? I mean, it's like you're not like, oh no, I don't want my goal is not to play in the Prem. My goal is to play for. No, I mean it's right. You know,
they decided
you make the best of it. You make the best of the opportunities you have.
No, well, instead of being a gym teacher, they had opportunities to go play in Romania. So we did that instead.
Right.
Good for them. They could be a gym teacher later. There was a guy when U.S. soccer had their elections 5 years ago during the open heated elections, the Eric Winalda elections. The one guy I liked was this New Jersey lawyer. Weingrad was his name. His name escapes me at the moment. But he was like a soccer dad from New Jersey, and he was running for U.S. Soccer, and he was an experienced Manhattan lawyer for like a big firm. But out of college, he played soccer in Israel for 2 years. He's like, just go do it. Why not? So I think he played college soccer, and then he got an offer to go play in Israel's second division or something. He played in Israel's second division for 2 years, got himself a little pro experience, and then when that was done, back to New York to start his law career. And it's like, hey, man, that's great. Yeah. I would love to. I thought he would have been a great soccer president. Why not? Definitely better than what Carlos Cordero ended up being, I think. But anywho, Daniel Farke in Leeds. Now, Brendan Aronson spent last year at Union Berlin. He's back. His reviews have been mixed. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. I was reading on the Reddit forums today where he's like, his stats aren't great, but he's like a hardworking player, and like his spirit is there. So it's like hard to quantify.
Yeah, I mean, I thought just he scored a lot of goals, kind of, but I mean, they also play a lot of games. My friend who's a Leeds fan, he was saying how, same kind of thing. It's sort of a mixed bag. We'll
is crazy
see how he does in the Prem, back in the Prem.
Yeah, 3 seasons ago, whenever under the Jesse Marsh days, when Brendan was in the Prem, he was a star, man, for at least a couple months.
Oh, okay, all right.
Not the like a Leeds. Like he was crushing it for Leeds.
for a time, yeah. But then eventually he
for like
lost
2 or 3 months.
Eventually,
He
he
lost
lost
the
this
steam.
starting spot. Yeah.
But there was something there. Literally at that time, like, because Pulisic wasn't really playing for Chelsea at the time. Like, he was on the bench. And it was like, play Brendan over Pulley, like when it came to national team talk. Because it's like, Brendan Aaronson's in the Prem, playing week in, week out, assisting, he's scoring. It's like, it was like a breath of fresh air. But then that steam ended, and then Brendan's never been the same again.
Well, he's sort of a high energy kind of, yeah, it's yeah. We'll see. But
I look forward to seeing him going back to the Prem. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I predict a lot of bench time. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we talked about this. There's a big gap between the championship and the Prem, and it's now for two years in a row. It's like the three up, three down. The same three teams who came up are going back down, and that. So so Leeds and Burnley are facing an uphill climb, and so either so it's like you try to do it with mostly the same team. And get your ass whooped week in, week out, or you do like Nottingham Forest or other who just like spend a ton of money, get a whole new set of players, and then it takes a while for them to figure it out, and eventually maybe it works. So
I was gonna say, for Nottingham Forest, it really worked. It didn't work.
Well,
at first,
now it has. Yeah, they're in third place. So, but it was very touch and go for a while for them too, and they just bought everybody. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be. I was talking to my Leeds friend, and he was saying how his family members who live there, they're not entirely super excited about going up. Tickets are getting more expensive. The team is not as successful. They're going to lose every game. It's sort of a mixed bag. So, I remember this in my Bochum fandom of old, when before the team spent a lot of time in Bundesliga 2, when they were just hanging on for many years and became die Unabsteigbaren, etc. When they finally did go down, it was like the world was ending. It was like, oh my God, we thought this would never happen, but then it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of nice. We sure are winning a lot of games. It's not so hard to, you don't have to be so early for the game. There's not as many people. It's all a little bit easier and more relaxed. And I was kind of like, ultimately, who cares if it's Bayer Leverkusen or Hansa Rostock coming to town? In the end, it's just another team we hate. So I don't know. It wasn't so bad.
Question.
Yeah.
Did the Wurst cost the same in the Bundesliga and the Bundesliga 2, or was it?
I think the concessions were the same. Tickets were a little. Okay. Listen, I had a season ticket as a college student with a college student discount that cost the equivalent of like $75 maybe for the entire year. This was in Bundesliga 1, so I wasn't particularly worried about ticket prices.
I told my dad that, by the way. I told my dad that. It always shows you just how old he is. I told my dad that he spent $80 for the year, and he thought that was unverschämt teuer. And I was like, what are you talking about? I spent €100 to watch one Bayern München game last year.
Yeah, that was for 17 home games. I thought that was, even at the time, I thought, wow, this is a good deal. I accept.
Unverschämt teuer, by the way, means ridiculously expensive.
Means ridiculous. Unverschämt. It's like unverschämt means it's sort of it's outrageous. It's like
without shame.
An insult.
That would be?
It's an insult. Yeah, exactly. It's shameless. Yeah. It's shameless. It's shamelessly expensive.
Unverschämt teuer. Unverschämt teuer.
Daniel Young is here.
Hey, Daniel Young.
Yay, more footies, says Daniel Young. My favorite team can win a trophy. Tottenham can win a trophy. Yeah, they're still in the
wrong place.
Still in the Europa League. Yeah, they beat Frankfurt. But we talked.
If you were with us on Thursday, we were talking about how disappointing that game was.
Disappointed we were about Frankfurt, but we're glad that your team. Yeah, because they sure ain't winning the Premier League. They won again, lost again today at home against Nottingham Forest that we talked about. So
Who does Tottenham? Does Tottenham play Man United? They play Bodo Glimt. Who are they playing? They're playing Athletic Bilbao.
I think it's
Let me look it up.
yeah, I think it's Atletico. I think this is not a done deal, Daniel Young.
Because I will say the Europa League belongs to one country, and that is Spain's secondary teams.
Yeah.
Like the Spanish clubs are good. They'll never win the league because Barcelona and Real Madrid will always win the league. And Atletico Madrid maybe will win the Champions League. However, the rest of the clubs, your Sevillas, your Athletic Bilbao's, your Rayo Vallecano's, they're like, but we can win the Europa League. So they do that. I mean, it's not always them. Frankfurt won, and I think Man United won.
Yeah, it can all, and maybe.
But usually, Tottenham's got Bodo Glimt. That's looking good for them. Tottenham's got Bodo Glimt.
Oh, is that true? I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, according to Google scheduling, it is. They got Bodo Glimt coming up, which means Athletic Bilbao's got Man United.
That's right. That's what it was. Yeah. No, you're right. So, well, okay, maybe Tottenham.
So it could be a Tottenham Man United Europa League final. That'll be interesting. And if Tottenham wins the trophy, I'll be happy for Daniel Young. Because when was the last time Tottenham won a trophy? We talked about it. Like any trophy at all.
Never. That's the whole Harry Kane, the whole Harry Kane curse. I mean, yeah.
Well, not never. They must have won stuff in the 80s or something. Last time. Google AI.
I'll look it up.
You look it up. I'll vamp. So we're bringing up all this championship stuff because in the Bundesliga, it's a little bit different. It's that crazy question, right? The promotion relegation has this thing where little teams have to go way up and then big teams have to go kind of way down. And the big teams sort of lose their players and their coaches as their way down, and they have to finagle their way back up, which is sort of a little dance. It's like a creative dance. It requires some sporting directors being creative. It requires players having loyalty and stuff like that. Where promotion is odd, because like you said, this team that was crushing it so much and won every game, is this team going to be good enough for the Bundesliga or the top flight? The answer is usually not really. No, you have to figure something out.
They need, they usually need a bunch of influx. Yeah.
But then how does that gel and how's the team chemistry and blah, 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 blah. For instance, this year we saw St. Pauli and Holstein Kiel in the Bundesliga, right? St. Pauli did well. They are going to be in the Bundesliga next year.
Yes.
Holstein Kiel, on the other hand, are dead bottom. And it's not looking good for them. The only big splash of cash they did was during winter season. They bought John Tolkien from the New York Red Bulls. And John Tolkien was man of the match over the weekend, by the way. I thought he did some mistakes, but apparently the ratings were good and he was a solid guy. I don't think he was. I mean, I looked at the conference, so I wasn't looking super close, but I'm glad he's playing. Apparently himself a good game, but Holstein Kiel got themselves a point against Leipzig, and they played well against Leipzig over the weekend. But they're still last place. And right now, the way it's looking in the Bundesliga is the three last place teams are going to be the three last place teams. It's 29 points to 22 points. There's a big gap.
That's been we've known that for a little while. Yes.
So right now it's Bochum, Heidenheim, Holstein Kiel. They're fighting for that relegation playoff spot.
It's currently is not in that order. Heidenheim has it. Heidenheim currently has it. And Bochum and Holstein Kiel are on the outside looking in.
But it's very close, isn't it? Like 21, 20, and
22, 20, 19. Heidenheim 22, Bochum 20, Holstein Kiel 19.
What we were last.
Go
every
ahead.
weekend it could just flippy flop, right? It's just if one team wins, the other two.
Yeah, except we lose every game, so then nothing is flippy flopping.
And Holstein Kiel and Heidenheim have a game in 2 weeks, I believe, right?
We play in Heidenheim. Bochum play in Heidenheim in a couple weeks. We play Union Berlin next at home. Then
Friday.
we have on Friday. Yeah, then we have
Friday, May 2nd is your game. So it's the Friday game, May 2nd. Mark your calendars. That's the 6-pointer. That could very well be the game that decides who's getting that relegation playoff. And it's that's not nothing, because historically the relegation playoff usually goes to the Bundesliga 1 team.
It went to us last year, even though we lost the first game 3-0. 3-0.
Yep. I know. So it's
3-0.
not nothing. But so the race at the bottom of the table is on. The race at the top of the table is done. It's like there was 6 points, and Bayer Leverkusen had opportunities to catch up last weekend, but no. Bayer Leverkusen has 2 ties in 2 weeks. They are comfortably in second place. There's a huge gap above them now, and a huge
8
gap below them
points.
now.
8 points behind 12. 8 points behind Bayern. 12 points ahead of Frankfurt. Nothing happens.
Bayern are
place.
effectively Bayern are the champions. It's not clinched, but it'll be clinched soon. Harry Kane finally gets his trophy. Sure, you'll be happy about that, Daniel Young.
But the English
Bayer
don't
Leverkusen
think
is
it's
definitely second place.
Yeah.
But anyway, did you look up the Tottenham thing?
Yeah, they have. They've won the UEFA Cup, which is the previous previous edition of the Europa League. They've won it twice, but this was a long time ago, 1984, 1972. They won the league in 51 and 61, so that was also a long time ago. In this century, only a League Cup in 2008 is the extent of the Tottenham trophy cabinet. They have 7 community shields. I mean, that doesn't even.
It's not a
cabinet.
It's the trophy shelf. It's just one
trophy shelf. Okay.
They didn't need a full cabinet.
Well, I mean, if you type this into Google, they say, "Oh, Tottenham Hotspur has won a total of 26 trophies in its history," and you're like,
Whoa.
"What are they complaining about?" But 7 of those are community shields, and
also most of them are probably in the 1800s. They're all
there's a lot of FA Cups, but not since 1991.
Well, so there you go. So the Europa League would be a big title for them. Manchester United doesn't respect the Europa League, so I hope they don't win it. Bodo Glimt would be huge. Tottenham would be big. Athletic Bilbao, they'd appreciate. The other 3 clubs would really appreciate that title. So, go Tottenham. If Eintracht Frankfurt's going to lose, they better lose to the best.
Daniel Young is saying, thoughts on Red Bull season ticket membership starting at $99. Thoughts on NYCFC season ticket membership starting at $700. Is that true? I don't think I pay that much. Anyway, we'll save that for the USA hour, Daniel.
Also, I believe, we'll save for the next hour. I saw this other ad. I think it's $99 a month. $99 for the season. That's why I had to double take that ad. I was like, $100 a month? Anyway. But anyway, so the Bundesliga up top, I guess they're still futzing around in the middle. Look at the table here.
The Champions League is still
Champions League days of summer.
Champions League spots are still very much in.
And the DFB Pokal is not for another 2 months. Final for 2 months, and one of them is a 3rd division team, captained by a young American named Mal Corbaz, and by young he's 30, so young in my mind. And I'm rooting for the 3rd division team. There's a good chance the only title a Bundesliga club will win is the league title, and that's Bayern München, which they've, as I said, effectively clinched it. Next week is match day 31, which means 31, 32. There's 4 games left.
4 left.
Over the weekend, Leverkusen tied St. Pauli. St. Pauli got a good point. St. Pauli had themselves, I think, a pretty good year because it started rough for them. But they're comfortably in that top flight position. They'll be there next year.
If Jimmy Sands hadn't gotten hurt, they would be.
Dortmund is gaining some speed. They got 3 points over Gladbach over the weekend. Stuttgart Union Berlin had themselves a 4-4 thriller. Good for Union Berlin getting in there. They've had themselves a couple of good results as they pulled Leverkusen to a tie last week as well. Freiburg got a good win over Hoffenheim. A big win for them for Freiburg. Kiel and Leipzig got themselves a 1-1, so it was a big point for Kiel. Kiel played well, I thought, against an underperforming Leipzig. Bayern slammed Heidenheim. What else is new? Mainz and Wolfsburg had themselves a fun game. Mainz also slowly starting to lose some points here at the end of the year. But 2-2 for them. And then Werder Bremen 1-0 over Bochum. And Bochum had themselves, what was the penalty? What was going on with Bochum?
They had a...
You're mute, right?
I don't, not on purpose. It seems like you can't hear me.
I can't hear you. Daniel Young, can you hear Bjorn?
Yeah, it sounds like you cannot hear me.
I might have to enter and exit again. It's crazy here.
Anyway, Dortmund, Bochum They got VAR took and VAR VAR gave and VAR took away. They had there was some there was a goal that was called off for Bremen, and then a goal that was given. Dortmund.
I'm gonna.
All right. So Stefan is gonna leave and come back. Anyway, so yeah, Bochum, another pretty good performance, but that's been the case for many weeks now that we have some pretty good performances that when we still lose the game. So, and we're only got 4 games left. We're running out of opportunities to win something, to get some points. So I don't think we need many. I think probably if we can win 2 out of the last 4, that's probably good enough. But right now, it's still pretty bleak.
Can you hear me? I'm back. Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. You still can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now. Yeah, it's
Oh,
me,
good.
man.
Okay,
Some of
great.
my I need to update my drivers or something. It's so weird.
Yeah, you were.
I went on the stream. Your audio was on the stream.
Yeah, I tried to interrupt you a couple times. You didn't hear me. Oh, David
It was
Riccio.
nice. I was like, yeah, I'm getting time to talk. Literally, I'm like, I know there's something wrong because I'm not being interrupted right now. Yeah,
I know. You knew it had to be a technical issue. That's not my way. It's not my way to give you uninterrupted time.
Or me. We're the interrupters. That's true. We break the podcast rules. We're not,
David Riccio says we sound fine. And I can now see levels also on this, so I thought I was fine. But you also sound a little scratched, a little crackly at the end there anyway, so it's good that you reconnected. I was saying I was saying the same thing I say every week, which is that Bochum played pretty well and lost. And we're running out of games to fix that. But if this was early in the season, you'd be like, oh, it's going to be okay. The team is pretty solid. Eventually we'll win some games. But with 4 left, I don't know. We'll see. Dortmund kind of making a late charge for these Champions League spots. Do you think they could make it into Europe, maybe?
I was going to say David Riccio here in the chat, who's a huge Kovac, who's been shipping Kovac all season. He's happy because under Kovac they're right in the ship. Yeah, I mean, Kovac is a solid coach. Maybe it takes a bit for them. But right now they're only, let's take a look at this table. They're only like 1 spot off. I looked at the other day. They're definitely, Europa League is a very real opportunity for them. It's between them and Mainz. Mm-hmm. Dortmund's at 45, Mainz is at 47, and Dortmund's gaining steam. Mainz is losing steam.
Well, that's the Conference League, though. No, that's not super.
6. Oh, so 5th. So the 3. So 48. Freiburg's in Europa League at 48. So Dortmund, Mainz, and Freiburg, and I guess Werder Bremen, and I guess Gladbach are kind of in that, and Leipzig. So Leipzig, Freiburg, Mainz, Dortmund, Werder, and I guess Gladbach.
I mean, that's why this was a big game.
That's a 5-point stretch, and they're popcorning between the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. Right now, Leipzig's in the Champions League, but they're not playing like they're going to keep it. Freiburg had themselves a big win, but I'm not convinced. I think Dortmund can get themselves into Europa League, definitely. Yeah, and I guess still Champions League. They're only 4 points out,
and perhaps Champions League. But
so
that's
what the next 4 weeks are about. This popcorning between Leipzig and the middle boys.
Popcorn.
Is it Champions League, Europa League, like popcorn? Which think like visualize like pops are popping in a popcorn machine, and they're like around, and then maybe that's that old board game Double Trouble or whatever, where you push the thing in the middle and it would like ice would. That's what's going on right now between Leipzig, Freiburg, Mainz, Dortmund, and Bremen, and then Gladbach, kind of.
Yeah.
Because Augsburg, that's already kind of getting down there already. So they're right now. They got 4 weeks to see who's going to end up in the Champions League spot, who's going to be in the Europa League spot.
I mean, Leipzig have a difficult schedule. They're at Eintracht Frankfurt, at home against Bayern, at Werder Bremen, at home against Stuttgart. So
yeah, that is tough.
That's not super easy. Versus Dortmund still have Leverkusen on the road, but Leverkusen are thinking about everybody's thinking about their next jobs. Florian Wirtz is thinking about Bayern. Xabi Alonso is thinking about Real Madrid. Even Simon Rolfes was kind of acknowledging all these things in an interview that I saw today, where he's like, "Well, yeah." I mean, he didn't even bother denying it. Yeah,
Jonathan Tah confirmed his exit today. He's guaranteeing everybody he will not be wearing a Leverkusen shirt next season.
So this is it. The Leverkusen dream is ending. Simon Rolfes pointed out in his interview that this was still one of the most successful seasons in the history of the club. I mean, okay, but like it's a disappointment, right? This is a disappointment.
Yeah, they're defending champions, and they had it. I'm trying to think what titles would they been. I mean, I don't know if I'm being unrealistic, but they tied these last 2 weeks, and both those were disappointing. If you won these last 2 weeks, it would be a 3-point gap, or it would be like a 4-point gap, not a 5-point, not an 8.
Yeah, they could be in it. Yeah, and I mean, last year around this time, they were in everything. They were in the Europa League. They were winning the league and the Pokal. Now it's kind of over. Everybody's looking for new jobs. So yeah, definitely a disappointment.
Time for the money. Money they earned. Where do you think Florian Wirtz will be playing next season?
Well, Bayern probably.
Bayern. Where do you think Jonathan Tah will be next season?
Perhaps also Bayern.
The Tah to Bayern makes sense. We talked about them needing a defensive.
Desperately, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jonathan Tah, he's been linked to Liverpool and Real Madrid, and I think the article I read today says I think it's really shipping Real Madrid, but it's like I think he's going to Bayern München. Tah was close to joining Bayern München last summer, but the deal fell through as the clubs couldn't agree on a transfer fee. Since then, mutual interest appears to have cooled, and that I disagree with. More recently, top clubs in England and Italy have reportedly expressed interest, and rumors have linked Real Madrid with the experienced defender. Yeah, I think he's going to Bayern München. That's what that means. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll go to AC Milan or something. Who knows? But yeah, and then Xabi Alonso, where's he headed? Is it Real Madrid?
Probably. I mean, that's Carlo Ancelotti has now officially said he's leaving, and he's rumored to take over the Brazil national team. And so the Real Madrid job is open, and yeah, Xabi Alonso is a contender for that, I think.
Excellent. It was supposed to happen last summer. I'm glad he gave us an extra year, and that's just the reality of it. I thought it's great that because there's no way they can get paid what they're worth these days. So they literally just made a choice to all stick together for an extra season, and that was good for the Bayer Leverkusen fans. And any other reality, they all would have been gone last summer. So we've got an extra season out of them. Good for them. Jonathan Tah, we welcome you at Bayern München. Strengthen our defense. Florian Wirtz, do we need a lot of help up top? I mean, I'll take him. Definitely over Serge Gnabry, who has said he's not going anywhere. And it's like, well, if I were the Bayern board, I'd make you go somewhere. Because you need to revitalize yourself somewhere. But yeah, so yeah, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the relegation playoff, and we're looking at the who's popcorning in Europe, who's not popcorning.
Who's popcorning?
I'm inventing things.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. Yeah, all of these transfers, etc., are it's going to be an interesting year, and yeah, Leverkusen everybody's gonna leave.
The party ends, but the way it works at all German clubs but one is people are set up to leave, and there's supposed to be some new kid taking over. So now we get to discover who the new kids on the block are, right? Isn't that the fun of it all?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be, then there's, I mean, it's going to take a little while. These are some that it's not going to be like for like, right? I mean, Xhaka might leave, and it's going to get worse before it gets better for Leverkusen.
Or are Bayer Leverkusen going to do what Frankfurt and Dortmund did last summer? They're going to go buy. They're going to go to Stuttgart and buy. They're going to go to St. Pauli and buy. Like how Mainz picked up Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim. They haven't really utilized him much, but this is getting some reinforcements in there from the clubs. Like maybe Bayer Leverkusen will buy John Tolkien from Holstein Kiel before they go down. Because they need a new left wing. Who knows?
And that's gonna make them challenge Bayern.
Oh yeah, baby.
They only like one
treble.
They're
treble
one John Tolkien away.
They're one J-Mai away from a treble. Treble incoming with that J-Mai. Hey, he was man of the match over the weekend, Holstein Kiel. Good for him.
All right.
Good for him. Will J-Mai be in the Bundesliga 2 next year? We'll see. That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of, there's Köln took a big step, won a game. I mean, everybody else is crumbling in Bundesliga 2, the Super League. HSV could only manage a 2-2 draw at Schalke, and Kaiserslautern is kind of in free fall. They lost again against lowly Braunschweig, so Kaiserslautern down to 7th place now. Erster FC Magdeburg is now in 3rd, but Köln and Hamburg still have a little bit of a lead, 4 and 5 points respectively, with 4 games to go. So it may be that those two can make it, even though HSV has been struggling.
4th place is SV Elversberg, who for 4 seasons between April 2004 to March 2008 had an American head coach.
Oh yeah,
easily the earliest American head coach in Europe. One Brent Goulet, former Seattle Sounders NASL player, who ended up at Elversberg. He ended up in the lower leagues of German soccer to end up his career. Ended up at Elversberg, and then I guess still lives in Elversberg because he was their head manager for a while. So Elversberg is 4th place. If they make their way up to the Bundesliga, hey, that's a Bundesliga club that once had an American coach. I'll take that.
Okay.
And that's not the end of the story, because this is the Schnitzel Boys, and we have a German-American universe here, a little German-American sphere, and there is a 2nd division club that might, if I'm shipping it right, shipping is a young word, means like relationship, getting from point A to point B, like having one guy, like setting one up.
It's not the same as popcorning, but it is
not popcorning. It's not a boat.
No, it's shipping.
Something I've tried to ship for a while is the Steve Cherundolo to Hannover 96 head coaching job. And Steve Cherundolo announced that at the end of the season, him and his wife are moving back to Hanover. He knows that. He didn't say anything about the job, and also
so much more beautiful than Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, the stars are out in Hanover, and blah, blah, blah. It's probably easier living, at least. Definitely cheaper and easier living. I know.
We'd have to ask. This would be a Schnitzel Boys. This would be an interesting Schnitzel Boys special. Like, why did Steve Cherundolo choose to go back? What does he like so much about Germany? We should ask him.
Lack of tariffs. It's like, well, go somewhere where I can. Now, I mean, he married. Steve Cherundolo became a German guy. Like, he moved there. He married a German woman, has German kids, and then when he came back to LA, I definitely knew it was kind of just a temporary assignment. That's how I felt. I mean, I could be wrong, but like, I feel he was here to get some experience for a bit, and then work his way back to Germany. Before his job at the Las Vegas Lights, he was the assistant coach for the German under-15 national team last week. Then prior to that, he was the assistant coach at Stuttgart, very briefly for like 2 months. Then so he came. He was the Las Vegas Lights head coach for a year. Then he was the LAFC head coach for a couple of years, which he did well. He won the league title with them, and they've been solid under him. And I think he's definitely be like, all right, now I've got this. I'm going back to Germany with.
Now it's Bundesliga time. So
I mean,
you think Hannover is the right next step, or does he aim a little higher? No offense to Hannover.
No, well, what do you mean aim high? Like, does
like
anybody
a Bundesliga team?
Well, which Bundesliga team? Let's be real here. Which Bundesliga team would value an LAFC title championship as any sort of experience.
Well, I mean, we had Pellegrino Matarazzo was coaching Hoffenheim. Why couldn't Hoffenheim hire Steve Cherundolo?
Well, Pellegrino Matarazzo is from the German system. They hired him because he was their former youth coach. That's why I'm saying Hannover. Hannover knows him. He's a former Hannover youth coach.
Okay.
And it's all about connections. So, like, if Steve Cherundolo went off to get experience, that's fine, but that's just for the Hannover boys. Like I think VfL Bochum could do worse than Steve Cherundolo, right?
Well, Dieter Hecking just signed an extension if we stay up, and if we're going down, then he's better off in Hannover.
No, I mean, for an MLS coach, going to a top flight has been tough, right? I think the better transition would be to go to a second division. Like, look at
But
Gerhard
like you're
Struber's
saying,
doing.
he's in a different category. He's not Bob Bradley. He is, like you're saying,
He's from the German system.
he's German for all
like
practical purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hybrid. He's like a mix between Pellegrino Matarazzo and Bob Bradley. He's like a hybrid, or Jesse Marsh, because like he played his entire professional career there. They know him there, you know. But his and he started his coaching career there. But his high level coaching experience is all in the United States, and you know the German soccer doesn't care about American soccer, right? Like if he came with a championship title under his belt, that would be different. As we saw with like guys like that with Daniel Faka and David Wagner when they won with Norwich, and I think they both won when they won with Huddersfield Town.
You mean
and
Norwich?
Respectively. Norwich sandwich. I'd like some extra pickles in my
sandwich,
please.
Sandwich? It's not called sandwich.
Sandwich? What's
or
sandwich?
Sandwich.
Sandwich is what I was saying.
Yeah,
like
but I'm saying, like you say Norwich. It's not sandwich.
Sandwich, I guess would be. Well, anyway, we could like Daniel Faka and then David Wagner got Schalke and Gladbach respectively. You know, like the championship has weight in England. Like in Germany, England has weight. But coming with an MLS title, they don't care. That's almost like not having experience. Would you agree or disagree? To them, from their point of view.
I don't think so. I think this is the kind of thing that could work well for him. Like, you know, he's a proven guy. They know him. He was a youth coach. Then he goes elsewhere and is successful. It's not like this was a flop by any means. It was a very successful stint, and I think this should get him some clout. I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be interesting to watch.
We've seen the opposite, which is interesting. If you fail in MLS, Europe doesn't care, and that's what the clue is to me. If you fail in MLS, because look at Gerhard Struber, he was one of the worst MLS coaches.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying.
And he's about to go to the top flight with Köln. And but he went to the second division. He didn't go straight to the Bundesliga. He went to Austria and then failed there remarkably, which is like, who fails at Red Bull Salzburg?
But Steve Cherundolo deserves a better job. Is more deserving than.
I agree with you. I'm not talking about you and I. I'm talking about the sport directors of the German. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the sport directors over there. How did they see it, do you think? That's the question.
But that was kind of, I mean, this was sort of a wild card, right? There's no explanation why Köln hired Gerhard Struber. That just didn't make sense on any level. But that has gone well. So I guess the ways of the coaching world are.
But that's why I'm shifting. But going back, that's why I'm saying Hannover, because to me that's realistic. Like, you know, I'm trying to think. Let's say, I don't know, like.
I feel he deserves better. He deserves better than a mid-table team in the league that's not going to be so super anymore without Köln and Kaiserslautern. It's just going to be the regular second division.
Yeah, but I would love to see him take Hannover and promote them to the top flight.
All right.
Hannover is one of those elevated clubs. I love the
Steve Cherundolo's
Hannover was.
They haven't been in the Bundesliga for a long time.
It's probably since Steve Cherundolo was their captain. He captained them to the Bundesliga.
I'm going to check.
There might have been a period after that, but yeah, they when Steve Cherundolo joined them, I think they were a third division team back in the day. Then they went up to second division, and then they became a top flight club and like a good, solid top flight club. And then Clint Mathis joined them. I just loved that year. 2004, Clint Mathis finished with the Metro Stars, and on a free, he went off to Germany to sign with Hannover and scored one of the coolest goals, like a half volley from outside the box.
I didn't pay attention. Hannover was in Europe in 2011.
I'm telling you,
that's not that long ago. Oh, okay.
They're like the Fulham of Germany. They can be in the second division, or they're the top flight playing in the Europa League. They're quite the elevator club.
Since 9 years, 2016, they went out, but that's more recent than I thought. Anyway, all right.
Steve Cherundolo on that team. I don't know.
You can bring him back.
Retired.
96.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I would love to see Cherundolo. Like, I agree with you. I'd love for him to go bigger. Like, maybe, I don't know where he'll go. Somewhere. Hoffenheim, maybe. Maybe he'll go to Hoffenheim. Maybe, I don't know. But like, I think realistically, knowing the way Germans and Europeans in general look at the American soccer scene, rightly or wrongly, it's all about connections. So he knows people in Hannover. He's a big hit. He was a former youth coach there. I think that's where he'll probably end up.
All right.
If they want to.
If you say so, we will keep our eye on it.
And I hope he does well, and I hope he brings it back to top flight.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all we got, right?
I think so. Like I said, the German it's winding down. There's no German teams in Europe.
It's winding down. And we don't have a big. We got the Club World Cup this summer, I guess. We've got some Nations League. We got some the Gold Cup.
June. Yeah,
but nothing really. I've been on the verge of buying Club World Cup tickets a couple times. I just can't quite pull the trigger at these rates. It's just a lot of money for like Dortmund against.
Don't.
Yeah.
Day of buy them clearance day of. Buy them clearance day of.
Yeah,
the fact that they're trying to package World Cup tickets, they're trying to.
I know there's going to be. Yeah, they're struggling. No, there's plenty of tickets available. Yeah, maybe I'll go at the last second. I would go see Dortmund play at MetLife.
Yeah, I would love to go to Miami and watch Buenos Aires versus Bayern München. Apparently that's sold out, and I guarantee you it's 90% Buenos Aires fans, right?
Probably.
I'd go see that, but that's too expensive. The tickets are flying on, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that. There's a couple games here in the Rose Bowl or SoFi or whatever that are interesting just as a neutral. But it's one of those things when it gets closer, if I can get some fire sale tickets day up, I'd go. Other than that, I'd just watch on
TV. All right. I'm with you. I'm with you on that strategy.
They just want too much. And just the principle of the matter is like, guys, I'm being really bothered by the fact that like in Qatar, locals could see it for $20 or whatever. But next summer, I guarantee you, everybody's going to get nickel and dime.
Oh, it's going to be wild.
There's going to be no cheap tickets for anybody. They're just going to try to milk every American. The world likes to milk Americans. FIFA.
What Don Garber said. We're the ATM. America's the ATM of international soccer.
And he's right. I agree with him. And as Americans, we need to have the German mentality of just saying no. Like just being like, no, we won't buy this. Prices need to go down.
It's too expensive. It's unverschämt. Unverschämt teuer.
Unverschämt teuer. We need to just say no with our wallets.
That's right.
Say no with our wallets. Okay.
All right.
Join us for the USA Hour. We're going to talk season tickets.
We're going to talk ticket prices there too, because Daniel Young is upset about how much his tickets are.
We're going to talk New York being poopy poop. We're going to talk about Columbus and Cleveland.
Ugh. Our teams are bad. All right. We'll see you later.
Oh, man. Cheers.